And while we're on the subject of tires, here are the 3 sets that I am going through or going to go through. On the left here is the IRC Stock Tire. You can see it's pretty well worn down. This took 3,000 miles. In the middle and currently on the bike is the Motoz Rallz, and again this is a little over 3,000 miles. This is closer to 3,500 miles on this tire, and it's about due. And then the ones I'm going to run for at least the first half of this summer is the Motoz Tractionator Desert HT. And I don't know if you can see how big these blocks are, but they are massive. All 3 tires are different sizes, and all 3 seem to work pretty well. All right, the stock one is a 120/80. The one that's on the bike now is a 120/90, and the new one I'm going to put on is a 130/90. So this one's a little bit bigger. But I don't know if you can see in there, there's tons of room, right? Nothing but space in here. So we can most definitely go bigger. There are a ton of tire size calculators on the internet. The one from Tacoma World is the one I use. It'll give you motorcycle sizes as well. So it's pretty cool. So here's a picture of it. The link is up in the upper left. And from here, you can see I'm comparing a 120/100/18 to a 130/90/18. So if you're wondering how much bigger the tire you're looking at is, this is a good place to start. This bike is whatever tires you put on it, and all 3 of these are considered adventure tires. They're all DOT approved, and I can tell you the IRCs worked great on the road. They were pretty bad in the dirt. The Rallzs worked great both places. I really like these tires. But I hoped to do a little bit more in Moab and Arizona this year. So this time I went with the Desert HT tires. Now, the obvious thing is this is going to make more noise than this, and especially this. This was super smooth. So those are the 3 tires. Let me switch over. I'll show you the fronts. Again, here we have the stock IRC front tire in an 8100. Here is the Motoz Tractionator Rallz, and that's a 90/90 tire. And here's the new Desert HT, Motoz Desert HT. And again, right, you can tell the difference between the voids, the sipes, and the blocks as we move here. Right, I can't quite get my finger in between these here. I can definitely get my finger in here. I can stuff my whole thumb between it, right? So we're moving from more road oriented to this is still super dirt. I'm going to say 25% road, 75% dirt, and now we're definitely moving into way more dirt oriented tire. These tires were really good on the road. I never lost the front end. Off-road, they were horrible. They were anything loose, they were absolute garbage. Sand, dirt, loam, they didn't work at all. The Rallzs, on the other hand, these guys worked really well, even off-road in the dirt, in the loose. Super stable on the road too. I was really surprised with how well they worked on the road, and I think it's because these blocks are connected together by these little connectors between them, so that the outside, your outside edge of the tire is really solid. It's not squirmy at all. This one we'll find out about, right? Because these blocks are actually in a pyramid shape, and here this tire is from the side, right? They're really thick at the bottom and they come up, so there's a whole lot of support on the outside of the tire. So I'm hoping these do really well on road too. But when you look at how much contact you have right, on the road, between your tire and the road, there's these three blocks kind of work together. These three blocks kind of work together when you're have the bike over to make one continuous piece of rubber. Same thing on these guys here. You'll also notice as you go across, I've worn the little nibs off of these tires. These I could lay over pretty good. These I can lay over, but yeah, you know, it's still a knobby. And then of course these are brand new. We'll see what these do. So anyway, so if anybody's asking what kind of tires I use, there you go. And then as soon as I get a couple thousand miles on these guys, I'll tell you what I think about them. One of the biggest differences between the stock tires, the IRCs that come on, other than the weight, this weighs nothing as opposed to this. Now, this has massive knobbies. I don't know if you can see how deep that is. It's like 3/4 of an inch deep. Even stock, these things weren't that big. I think Fort9 did a really good video on how motorcycle manufacturers rip you off by giving you super light, crappy stock tires. Anyways, I don't know if you can see the sidewall. I can flex this with my hand. Does that show up? Maybe if I step on it. Okay, and these are the Motoz tires. Like, okay, that's it. Do you see it? That's all I can bend these damn sidewalls. There we go. Now I can flatten it out a little bit. So the sidewalls on these are very stiff. They're super resistant to pinch flats. And the other thing, the bead on this it just feels like it comes out further than the stock tires, especially on the back. Right, the back actually is a noticeable, if you could feel it, if you could measure it, the bead on this as opposed to the Motoz tires is much deeper. On the bike, this is what it looks like. Right? It's a good 1/2 inch. Right, it's got some really decent overhang. So maybe that's part of the reason that in over 6,000 miles I've never had a flat. Again, knock on wood. All right, so that's my 2 cents, my 2-cent review of the Motoz Tractionators, the Rallzs, which I love and I've used for 3,000 plus miles and they're still going. And the new Motoz Tractionator Desert HTs, which I can't wait to try, although I'm a little scared. I got to tell you, I'm a little afraid that thing's just going to sing me songs on the highway. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Oh, here goes a KLR. Yo, brother. Okay, thank you so much for watching.